Wilfried Nonce edges closer to becoming Celtic's next permanent manager. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football. And Columbus Crew boss Wilfried Nonce has been given permission to speak to Hoops over managerial vacancy. So this has took a few extra steps over the last couple of days. And until there was anything concrete, I said here on Fog Football, we weren't going to address it, but this looks like he's the only man that's going to get the job. I've seen photos of him as well on Twitter, boarding a plane, bound for Glasgow. By the looks, well, I say Glasgow, bound for London. That looks like where the talks were going to be. Now, Nonce refused to rule himself out of contention following the end of Columbus Crew's MLS campaign. There was a bit of drama with the playoffs and the MLS and goal difference. Honestly, I don't know what the hell the MLS do. But let's see. So, Nonce 48 is due to have direct discussions with the Celtic hierarchy over the weekend. Sky Sports News revealed on Wednesday that Celtic officials had been holding talks in London with a number of targets and their representatives after drawing up the shortlist. Principal shareholder Dermot Desmond was meeting interim boss Martin O'Neill in London on Friday to discuss whether or not the club would continue with him if they were unable to appoint an interim manager before the end of the international break. Now that's very interesting, but again, Martin O'Neill, it's just it's like a rolling contract, but instead of like here, see you in 12 months, it's see you in 12 minutes. Because obviously what this means is if they couldn't get anybody done in this 2 week period, Martin O'Neill would be back till they could get someone done. But I've got a sneaky suspicion that when Celtic play their next game in Paisley, this guy will be in the dugout. If Nonce and Celtic can agree terms, Celtic will have to officially approach Columbus Crew and discuss compensation. Celtic's aim is to have a new boss in charge for their game at St Mirren next weekend, but would like O'Neill to continue for a bit longer if they can't strike a deal with one of their top targets, as Sky Sports News revealed last week. Celtic are pleased with the way O'Neill has galvanised the squad and lifted the mood at Celtic Park. So, again, Martin O'Neill, he could stay on, he might not stay on, but as for this Wilfried Nonce guy, I mean, it's just a weird move for me. Doesn't scream big managerial appointment. Celtic are not really at the point where they can afford to take a risk. I mean, people compare it to Ange, right? But I think the key thing about Ange is they were going to get Eddie Howe, and that fell through, and Ange Postecoglou was plan B. Now, Ange Postecoglou was very, very successful, and it more than worked out for Ange at Celtic. But it's not like he was numero uno. It feels like this guy has been more or less the number one target. Like, because say what you want about Knutson, there's nothing concrete to suggest that he's flat out refused this. Now, there has been a few rumours here and there. I mean, Jamie O'Hara said it on Sky Sports, didn't he? But again, I think we're going to take what he says with a massive pinch of salt, because he's a bit of a prick, isn't he? But in terms of the Bet365 odds, Wilfried Nonce's 1-6, Knutson's 11-2, Martin O'Neill 13-2. Again, Martin O'Neill, I think that'd be absolutely wasting money on him, because what it looks like to me is with Martin O'Neill is he's not going to become permanent. He's just going to simply be until they announce someone. So that would be wasting money. But a key thing to notice, man, like with Wilfried Nonce 1-6, Knutson's 11-2, Martin O'Neill 13-2. Then you've got Robbie Keane, Kieran McKenna 12-1. Well, as soon as I say that, the betting odds have went suspended. Maybe it's been announced. Who knows? Or maybe my internet's down. Who fucking knows? But either or, like with Rangers, it was a lot closer. There's a big. This ain't happening. Like, well, in terms it ain't happening, it looks like it's going to be him, unless something mental happens in the next couple of days. When Club Brugge's Nicky Hayden's in there, Vinos Faros, obviously that's who Robbie Keane manages. He didn't refuse to rule out the move. He said, and I quote, "I'm not here to talk about myself. I'm here to talk about the team first of all, and I've nothing to say about any kind of reports." Martin O'Neill, meanwhile, has admitted he may not be in charge of Celtic's next game, which obviously is against St Mirren. He was talking to BBC Radio Ulster in an interview, and he said the short and honest answer is I genuinely don't know. Nah, I don't think he will be. I mean, I can't say for definite, folks, because you can quite easily get it wrong. But I'm telling you, Wilfried Nancy, he's going to be in the hot seat come that St Mirren game. And tell you what, man, Martin O'Neill, he's got Celtic ticking along quite nicely, apart from the Midtjylland defeat. Regardless of what you think of the run in, he still won the games, the Old Firm semi, which is the one that mattered. If this guy comes in and Celtics, but I tell you, we did the predictor. Actually, I'd say we did the predictor. I think we're doing the predictor later on today, or it might be on Sunday, where we're going through the rest of the fixtures in 2025 and like giving our own predictions to form a league table going into the new year. Very, very tough run of games for Celtic this over the winter period. So it'll be interesting to see what's happening in that regard, because Martin O'Neill very easily could have dropped points in those games, but if he goes out and this guy comes in, it's going to look like this guy's the one that dropping points, and if you kept Martin O'Neill, it was the better deal. So I think Wilfried Nancy's potentially got a tough task on his hands anyway. Leave your thoughts down below. Later on the night, we take on Greece. Need to win. Well, sorry, need to win. Need to draw. Minimum. Just don't lose, Stevie Clark, alright, son? Alright?